Here we go. We are going live. It looks like we're live. I see data streaming from our little stream. Streaming from our stream. All right, Steve, it looks like we're live on Facebook. Hello, Facebook friends. We're going to be doing the radio show, which it seems like forever since we've done it, actually. It's been a couple of weeks because of some issues. Actually, we did it 2 weeks ago, and for some reason, the Facebook Live totally crapped out on us and didn't work. And
we didn't know.
We didn't know. We did the whole show and didn't do a backup recording. So we should have learned from that. Of course, I'm not doing a backup recording now, so I guess I didn't learn anything from that. And then,
we never had an issue with it before. No.
Yeah, well, I had moved, and all my stuff was in the other office, and so I think even though it showed that I had good connection Wi-Fi, it probably wasn't good enough, unfortunately. So there you go.
Yeah. Okay.
And then last week, I was actually on my way to North Carolina to clean up after the hurricane. And so I wasn't here for last week's show. But now we're back, and we're ready to talk about what we talked about 2 weeks ago that nobody heard, and that is chatbots. So we're going to talk a lot about those. And actually, it's kind of exciting because some things have changed. I've got a little more information about some of the chatbots and some of the response that I've gotten of late because of the chatbots. And so, pretty exciting stuff.
Groovy stuff.
Pretty exciting. So, Steve, are you ready?
I am ready, Ray.
Let me go check Facebook, make sure we haven't bumped off or anything. Because
I've been monitoring it. We're good.
Okay, good.
Yeah,
that's excellent.
yeah.
All right. Well, then, in that case, should we get that funky music ready to play and do this? Get this thing started. Oops.
Hit it.
He's ready.
Didn't mean to do that.
Oh, there it is.
I
Okay.
didn't mean to do it yet. I just meant to set it.
There
up.
it is right now.
There it is. Hey, look, there it is. All right. Here we go. In 5, 4, 3. Wait, what? Hold on. I got to think of one thing, though. Ooh, 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 ooh. Okay, I'm preparing my mind.
Getting your mindset.
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 All right, because I want to make sure that we do the right things here. So.
Okay.
All right. On today's episode of Video Marketing Madness, we're going to talk all about Facebook chatbots. And today's episode is made possible by, somebody that you may know from a TV show called Shark Tank, a good friend called Heaven Carrington.
That was good.
Heaven Carrington. Oh, let's try that again. All right, here we go. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. On today's episode of Video Marketing Madness, we're going to talk all about Facebook chatbots. And today's episode is made... See, now I'm laughing. Ooh. All right. I tried not to laugh throughout that whole thing because I was still amusing myself there. Boy, everybody who's on the Facebook Live is having a lot of fun right now, I'm sure.
I think I'm funny. Nobody else does. I know.
All right. No more laughing.
Nope.
Okay, here we go. 3, 2. On today's episode of Video Marketing Madness, we're going to talk all about Facebook chatbots. And today's episode is made possible by a good friend, Kevin Harrington, who has a new series of videos up on his perfect pitch. In fact, he's even got a video about how he made a perfect pitch to a cranky Donald Trump and how he turned cranky Donald Trump into happy Donald Trump, who handed him a $25 million check. That's right, $25 million. If you want to hear all about that and hear how Ryan Allaire pitched to Kevin Harrington with a perfect pitch, well, then head on over to raisebonuses.com/perfectpitch. And there you'll be able to sign up to get the free videos where you'll learn all about how Kevin does his perfect pitch and how people have done the perfect pitch for him. So I highly recommend you check it out right now at raisebonuses.com/perfectpitch. And are we ready for that music, Steve?
Okay, hit it. Hopefully this guy will have...
He's Ray the video guy, yeah, Ray the video guy. His skill is where it's at, even if he's a little fat. He's filled with video expertise and has so much knowledge that you need. His YouTube ninja tricks can make your marketing so sick. He's Ray the video guy, yeah, Ray the video guy.
And it's the radio show about video marketing madness with Ray, the video guy. And I'm Steve Sleeper on the Show Podcast Network. You can also find us on Apple Podcasts and Stitcher. We've got a Facebook page. We've got a Twitter thing. What else do we? YouTube. We're on YouTube. Imagine
we are on
that.
YouTube, yes.
Yeah.
Video on YouTube. What a shock. And on Facebook Live, of course. And, of course, you can always catch anything that we do on any of our Facebook pages, really. So, Video Marketing Madness, Ray the Video Guy, all those Facebook pages will have.
You got a million groups. So
I've got a million groups, indeed. Indeed. I know because I spent the afternoon working with my on and off again friends at Sendable trying to figure out some of the postings for pages and groups. I'm kind of liking them again today. Earlier today, I was not so much liking them. So we have a love-hate relationship. I've literally been on the phone arguing with them before, and I've also been on the phone where they were telling me about great new things they're doing. So that's my semi-pitch for Sendable. So if you want to check that out, Sendable.com. At the moment, I would recommend them. Tomorrow, we'll
Sendable, they don't suck today.
They don't suck at the moment. That's right.
Yeah.
Should be their tagline there. So
yeah.
And speaking of things that don't suck, I've actually started using a new product that I think people would be really interested in, and I don't want to say it's free because it's not really free, but it's pretty much free unless you're doing a ton of stuff. I know many of you guys probably use Amazon S3 to host your files. So you put all your files up there and people download them and then you get charged per download and you get so much free and then you charge it. Well, I had bills sometimes that were like $1,500 in a month from Amazon S3 and have a heart attack because you never know when they're going to charge you. It's like all of a sudden like $1,500 disappears and you're like, where'd that money go? And it went to Amazon. Oh my gosh, $1,500. And then other months it was probably more like $400 or $500 and so it could get pretty expensive. Well, a friend of mine actually told me about a new product called Wasabi, 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 and they do the hosting just like Amazon S3 does, but for a lot less expensive prices. And supposedly, they say they're a lot faster. My tests, it's tough to tell because most of the files download pretty quick on either one, but it's definitely at least as fast as Amazon, but they say it's actually quite a bit faster than the Amazon S3, and they don't charge you per download. So, for instance, in Amazon S3, if I have, let's say, I've got collections of videos that I sell and people download them. And some of them, each one of those things could be 100 megs. And so if you figure we've got 1,000 files up there at 100 megs each, and then 100 people download one of those files, well, that's 100 megs times 100 people. Okay, so now we're at 10,000 megabytes here. And, and we get charged for that 10,000. Well, with Wasabi, you don't get charged for what they call egress, that is downloading. So if I've got a 100 meg file up there and 1 billion people download it, it doesn't cost me 1 penny more than if nobody downloads it. So they charge for space, but it's not very much. In fact, my bills that were $500, $400, $1,500 on a couple of the months have now been about $10.
Wow.
So
no kidding.
Dang. So it is a huge difference, and that's at wasabi.com. Again, it's not any sort of affiliate thing there. I'm just letting you know about a great product that costs, I think last month I spent $10. So
that's huge for affiliate marketers.
Absolutely. Well, for anybody that sells anything that's big, if you sell videos, just share big files, that's great. So check it out to wasabi.com. Highly recommend it. In fact, they were another one that were kind of an on-again, off-again, love-hate thing when I first started with them. Funny story about them is the one thing that, that you could upload all your files, and then you could create, you could have people download all your files and do all this different stuff. Well, the one thing that was missing from Wasabi was, let's say you uploaded a file, and now that file is at wasabi.com / whatever the bucket name is / this folder / the file name. They didn't give you a link. There was no way to get a link. So I literally, for every file I put up there, I had to manually go in and go, okay, well, it's this, and then add the file name to the end, and add the file name to the end. And I complained to them about it and didn't hear anything. And, and when I complained to them, I told them, I said, I started with you guys, and I think I think I figured you guys out. I think you have a genius and a mental patient, and they each take turns adding features to the program. And whatever the genius puts in there is great. Whatever the mental patient does is insane, but it's still there. So because you host files and you do all this, but you don't give me a link to share that hosted file. It doesn't make any sense. Well, they finally added that in there. I can't believe I had to ask. I had to insult and complain to them about something so obvious that was just missing. I don't get it. But they added that in there. And so now literally you upload a file and there's the file link right there. You click it, it copies it, you paste it wherever you want. Absolutely brilliant. And of course, saving $1,500 or $1,490 is a pretty good thing.
Big deal. Yeah. But not having that file link is pretty odd. But, it was
very strange. Very, very strange. And by the way, they do have a Dropbox-like integration with your computer as well. So you can have a folder on your computer that's shared similar to the way Dropbox does. So you can go right on your computer and copy a link and whatnot. Remember, just like with Dropbox, in this case, this is connected to your computer. It will copy files back and forth. So if you put 10 terabytes of stuff into that file, it's going to try and put all that on your hard drive to sync it up too. I know because I made that mistake. So it's very much like Dropbox. It actually syncs the files, so make sure that you're careful with what you put in there. My poor brand new computer had no space left on it, and I had to go through a lot to fix that because
that was a surprise.
But anyway, all that complaining is for a product that I'm highly recommending, by the way, which is Wasabi. So anyway,
Seems
just wanted to share that because it's been a couple of weeks. But yeah, great. No, it's fantastic now that I understand it, and everybody should really go and get yourself an account because I don't think it costs anything to get an account. It only costs if you use it, and if you use it a certain amount, and so it's worth jumping in there.
Tip. That's cool.
Much like TubeBuddy, it's a free thing that you can kind of jump in and start using and pay as you use it more. So wasabi.com. All right, we're not here to talk about Wasabi, though, Steve. We're here to talk about something even more, well, I won't say more exciting, but something extremely exciting, and that is chatbots. And for those of you who have dealt with me over the last couple of months, you know that I've gotten big into chatbots. And so I wanted to talk a little bit about what chatbots are, how they work, how you can use them, how they can help you. And to kind of start it off, the one thing that people always think of when they talk about chatbots is, oh, I went to some guy's Facebook page and I tried to message him and I immediately got a message back and it was a robot and it annoyed me. And those are chatbots. Those are absolutely chatbots, and when used properly can be very, very useful. But a lot of people just use them to send auto messages back and forth. And quite honestly, I've turned a lot of that off on my pages just because I usually respond very quickly. So when people send me a message through one of my Facebook pages, I usually respond within minutes because it pops up on my phone and I can immediately, send a message back. And so a lot of times what was happening was somebody would send me a message and I would immediately respond and I'd say, yeah, hey, John, what's up? And then immediately, boop, a chatbot thing would pop up after what I said or right before what I said. And so it kind of confused people but if you're not somebody that's going to be right on top of it each and every time somebody sends a message, they can be very useful if you use them properly. And of course, with the chatbots, in that case, you can set them up with keywords. So if they ask a certain question, it'll give a certain answer. So you can really do some very complex and cool things with these chatbots. And you can do them right inside Facebook, or you can use third parties to set these things up. And there's a lot of really cool software that does that for you. And, that's just one kind of chatbot. Now, for me, the chatbot that I find most useful is the actual chat button that you can put on your own website. So on all of my websites, and that's within reason, there are some pages that don't, for whatever reason, I can't put a chatbot on them, or I don't really own them, that kind of a thing. But for the most part, any page that you go to that has to do with me is going to have that little chatbot in the corner there, and it's going to have the little message, and it's going to say, hey, you got questions about this? Click here. And when you do that, it pops up the little chat. You can type back and forth, and we can have a conversation right on that web page. Now, in the past, about a year ago, you didn't have that option. You could put a little chat box on your site, but it was fake. And when people clicked on it, it took them to Facebook, and then they started messaging back and forth on Facebook. Well, now this works just like any chatbot that you would put on your own site, and you have the chat right there without ever leaving the site, so people can still make their purchases after they've talked to you. These have been huge for me. I added these in probably about 6 months ago or so, and they have made me so much money just because a lot of people who might have had questions didn't know how to ask the questions, so they just left. Well, now they've got that chat box there. They ask the question, I answer it for them. Maybe I clarify something they weren't going to buy because of X, and I say, oh no, that doesn't happen. It works this way, and they make a purchase. And we're talking in some cases, purchases that are $300, $400 a pop. So it makes a lot of money when you have these on there. And nowadays, it's almost vital to have that. I was at a website a couple of weeks ago, and I remember getting so frustrated and angry because I had a question. I had a problem with their site, and the only thing they had was an email. And I'm like, I don't want to write an email and wait who knows how long to get an email. Well, this is 2018. Why is there not a chatbot? So chatbots, very, very useful, very helpful when you put them on your website like that. And that's another type of chatbot that I use all the time. A third type of chatbot that I really love and has also been responsible for a lot of income are, I don't even know if mass messengers, or, it's kind of like an autoresponder, but with Facebook Messenger instead of with an email autoresponder. And so what these are is as people use your Facebook page, they're put into what are called lead lists. And lead lists are a list of people that have contacted your page. You can now send messages to all of those people. And so if you build up a nice list, you can send out messages to all those people, giving them a special offer, telling them about something new, showing them your latest video, sharing with them a free resource that you had. All of these things can be done right inside of the program. You just type a little message and send it, and it goes out to everybody that's on that lead list. And it works really, really well. I'm talking about, in some cases, 70% open rates versus, email autoresponders, which might be 10. Might be 3% open rates for a lot of people. But on these, 70% open rates and 30 to 40% click-through rates a lot of times. So we've gotten a lot of sales specifically from that. And of course, that also instigates those chats again. So once I send them the mass message, they start asking the questions just like they would on the website. We can answer them. Boom, we make a sale. And it works really, really well. Another type of chatbot I'm going to talk about is not really, I don't know if it would really qualify as a chatbot, but I'm going to call it one anyway. And that is being able to create a button that you can put anywhere, or a link. So there's a link that Facebook gives you for your messenger. In fact, I should have looked this up beforehand because I always forget what it is. But I'm going to tell you exactly what it is here in just a second. Give me one moment, because what Facebook does is it creates a link where in that particular link you get to send people directly to the chat. So it doesn't send them to your Facebook page to start a chat. It sends them directly to the chat itself. And I'm stalling here while I find the proper link here, so I apologize. We'll get it here for you in just a second. So it's fb.me, so facebook.me, so fb.me/msg for message / whatever your page name is. So Ray the Video Guy. So fb.me/msg / the name of your page. And you can put that anywhere. I put it in my emails. So when people receive an email from me, there's a button there that says chat with me right now. And they can click that and immediately start a chat message with me. So very, very useful, very, very helpful. I consider it a chatbot. It's a little different because it's just kind of a built-in feature of Facebook, but it is an automated way to get people to start doing chat with you. And so I'm going to continue to call it a chatbot regardless of that. So those are the basic types of chatbots that you can use inside of your business. And of course, you can take those into a whole new level in some of the programs. Now, what programs can you use specifically for creating these chatbots? Well, first you can start with Facebook. Facebook can do an automated response. So you can set that up right inside your Facebook page. But of course, most people want to take this to a much bigger level where you can do all sorts of really cool stuff. And the one program that I want to start off talking about a little bit is a program called ManyChat. Now, ManyChat, the reason I bring that particular one up is it has a lot of great features, and you can start off completely free. So you can go to manychat.com, you can start using their bot system there, and depending upon what you do, it doesn't cost you anything. Now, the downside is they put their branding on a lot of the stuff, which can be kind of annoying. You can pay to upgrade so you get that branding removed, and then the prices start to go up based upon that. But you can do all the things we talked about. You can put the chat button on your page. You can do the automated chat responses. You can do the autoresponders and mass message people. You can create buttons, and all of those things will help you to get started. And again, it's free to get started, so you can start to learn. And then if you want to move up into something paid, then you have to start paying them or use another paid system. Now, they can start to get a little expensive once you get going, because they charge monthly fees for this and that, and so it starts off free, but then it kind of hammers you afterwards. But it's a good place to kind of learn a bit about the chatbots. Now, for me, I was using for my chat on my page, I was using a product called Soci Lead Messenger, and that was a great program. It cost, I want to say like $37, and it puts that little chat button on your page. So on your webpage, you get that little chat box. Now, that's the only thing you get with this particular product is just that chatbot feature. So that's what it's for. So you're paying that price for that particular product. And it's very good. It works really well. I've used it for months. Recently, I came across a new product from a couple of guys that I know called Inboxer, INBOXR. And if you want to check that out, you can check it out at raythevideoguy.com/INBOXR. This is an all-inclusive chatbot system. So this does your chat on your page. It does your autoresponder stuff. It does the automatic messaging when people message your page. And you can get very complex with that messaging. So you can have buttons and choices and all sorts of really cool stuff. That one I think also starts around $37 or so. But with that $37, you get all of these features. So not only do you get the chatbot on your page, you also get the autoresponder messaging, so you can start messaging people out, and you get the ability to do the automated responses inside your page when people message you with all the different buttons and options and buy buttons. I mean, you can do all sorts of really cool stuff inside of this particular program. So you can check that out again, raythevideoguy.com/inboxer with no E. Just a really powerful tool. And the great thing about the Inboxer tool is that, you've got, not only do you have your chat bot button that you can create, the little box on your page, but you can modify it a lot more than other programs. So you can change the colors and the text and all that. So it gives you a lot more options with that. But also it gives you other what we'll call lead tools, because that chat box there, that's a lead tool. It gets people to contact you. You can also do full screen takeovers where it has the chat button right there. You can do pop-in buttons from the side of your page. So there's a lot of different things you can do to entice people to contact you and start a conversation, which is very neat. And again, all you have to do with that is you open it up. It's very simple. You choose what kind you want. So it's a drop-down menu. Do you want the little button on your page? Do you want to take over the whole page with a button? Do you want to have a slide in? Whatever you want to do, you just choose that. Then you choose the wording that you want it to say. You can choose your colors, which some of the other ones don't let you change the colors. It's just that Facebook color. So I use a nice orangey red, like in most of my marketing. And that works really well. It's very easy. And then you just get a little script. And you take that script, you paste it into your page, depending upon the kind of page that you've built. If it's an HTML page, you would literally go into the HTML code and paste it into the body. If you're using a builder like Convertry or ClickFunnels, you just go to where you would put a script and you drop it in there. I've actually used these scripts in link forwarding systems. So, for instance, I've got a link forwarding system called WP Link Shield, and I can put that code inside that so that if I'm showing somebody else's website, my chat button can still pop up on their site, and you can contact me and talk to me about whatever you're looking at on that page. So, for instance, if there was like an Amazon product, I could pop that on there because it's just shortening the link and then it's adding that in there. So it's very, very cool as far as that goes. The other thing that you can do with that is you can start doing giveaways. So, for instance, if you got stuff you're going to be giving away, give it away by having people contact your chatbot. And that's a very good way to also get people into that messaging system. So there's a lot of neat things you can do with that. With Inboxer, you get all of those tools. You also get some posting tools with that. Now, it sounds like a commercial for one particular product, but really that's not the point of it. The point is that you can do lots of different things. And inside there, one of the things you can do is you can post a message that links to the chatbot. So if you're going to give something away or you're going to share something, you share it with that posting system, and underneath it, it has a little connect with me thing there so they can contact you. And then you can automate things. So you could have them, I'm going to give away this free ebook. Just click here, and it clicks the messenger. And then you could have it automatically say to them, hey, thanks for clicking this. Here's your free gift. And now you've got them in your system, and you can start to send out messages over and over and over to them. So now the question is, why do I like these chatbots? So we've talked about what we can use it for. We talked about the programs we can use with the chatbots. And by the way, there are other programs too. I personally haven't used any of them, so I'm only talking about my personal experiences, but there are other systems out there. So, most of them will do a lot of the things that we've talked about here. In the case in the past, I actually had to have, 3 different tools that I was using to do the 3 different things. I had one for the chatbot, I had one for the autoresponder, I had one for the responding, things like that. So that can get a little confusing when you got to use multiple tools. But now that you can do that in Inboxer, again, you can do most of that in ManyChat as well if you've got the paid upgrade. So there's a few different options for that. But the reason why I'm so excited about Facebook Messenger is that email, to me, I love email. I do email marketing all the time, but email is a slow, plotting sort of system where you send an email, you wait for somebody to read it, you wait for them to respond, you have to go back and check and see if they responded. It can be a very slow and tedious process. With the Facebook Messenger systems, everything is instantaneous. It's just, boom, ask a question. Oh, I got the question. Here's the answer. And that takes place in, a split second. Right before the show, I got a message from somebody, and I was able to respond in a split second. Just literally, they sent a message, I sent a response, and that was it. It was that easy. You didn't have to wait for all the email stuff. I truly believe that Facebook is trying to become the new version of email. So like an email 2.0, probably mixed with a Skype 2.0. So kind of building both of those together where it's a very message-based system. You can do groups. You can do all sorts of fun things in the messaging system. You can send files quickly and easily. You can pay people directly through the Facebook Messenger. You owe somebody $5, you can send them $5 right there in the Messenger. You don't have to do anything. And with some of these messaging systems, you've got all sorts of things you can do. You can send videos back and forth. You can send buy buttons. You can send information. You can send articles. You can send, just about anything you can think of in pretty much the blink of an eye, which, again, in email, you can do a lot of these things, but it takes longer. There are some things you can't do. You can't send videos in an email. Now, you could send a video file that they could download and open, but you can't have an email with a video inside it that actually plays. It doesn't work that way. So I see Facebook really making a big play to be kind of the new versions of both Skype and email mixed together. And I think that's what they're looking to do. They're encouraging businesses to really start using this chat feature. I don't know about anybody else, but when I have a problem with a product, I don't go and send an email to them. I don't look for their email address. I go and message them. I complained about some of the sendable issues that we were having, earlier today. That's what I did. I went to the Facebook Messenger. I was like, hey, dudes, what's going on here? This is what I got. What's happening? And they were able to kind of figure it out and fix it. And now all is hopefully good again and seems to be working. But, it's a great and quick way to start messaging people for business purposes, personal purposes. For instance, in our church group, we create a group, boop, and we send the message out and it gets to everybody. It's very quickly, sendable. Sorry, I don't mean to use the word sendable again.
Disseminated.
Disseminated. There, that's a good word to use for it. Yeah. Very quickly disseminated. I would look for a word in the bottom, but I forgot to put the.
You've got the crawler.
The news crawl is not working, which I forgot to check before we started. So.
Oh well.
That's okay. So that's why I like these chatbots. I like Facebook Messenger. Now, I do want to put out there are some downsides to this. There are some things that, quite honestly, aren't ready for prime time with these things. And I'll tell you, the biggest issue that I have is if you take a look at email, if I send Steve an email and he sends me an email back, I go into my email, I can see the emails that have come to me in an inbox. I can see the emails I've sent in a sent box. Well, in Facebook Messenger, they kind of just, they just throw it all together. And so what does happen sometimes is, let's say that I'm doing a mass message to 500 people, and Steve sends me a message right before I hit that send button. And this happens all the time, by the way. People will send me a message right before I hit that send button, and Steve's message will pop up, and I'll see it on my phone. And then when I go to Facebook on here and I pull it up and everything, well, now there's 500 messages in that box. And I've got to go and find. Now, if I know it's from Steve, then I can search him and say, find Steve. But sometimes these things pop up on your phone and you don't know who it is that sent it to you. And now it's buried under 500 messages. So you're scrolling, looking for that headline. And then here's the other issue. It also only shows that person one time. So let's say Steve sends me that message. I send the mass message out and he's in that mass message list. Guess what? Now I can't find the message I sent or the message that he sent me because he's been sent this new message. So he's just in there with everybody else that just got that message. So they do have to work on a couple of things like that. They have to be able to separate inbox and outbox, I think would be a big service for everybody in there. Now, the fact that they're all mixed together, so there's only one Steve button in there with every conversation we've ever had, versus an email where every time you get an email, you get a new email that you can look at. So, that's not as big an issue, but it can potentially cause some problems. Now, one great thing about this is, let's say you get a message from Steve, he asks me a question. I want to be able to make sure I go back to that when he answers the question so I can answer, give him more information, is you can put a star on that person. You click a star button and it puts them into a special area where you can just access, those conversations that are most important. So you can do that. But the inbox, outbox thing, kind of a big issue. Is it a game stopper? No, it's just a pain in the neck is what it is. So, but that's the basics of bots and why I think they're a big deal in the future. Steve, what have you done with bots? We haven't heard much from you.
I got to tell you, not much. And I'm really interested in what it's all about. And the thing I'm fascinated with is the customer service function of having that on your website. When somebody gets ready to buy, especially with an affiliate marketer, you got a relationship with them already. And the most important thing to do is to continue that relationship. And then, it'd be nice if they bought your products. So if they leave frustrated, that hurts you. If you're able to instantaneously answer their questions, that's the most important thing. And then they buy something, that's cool too. But you know what I'm saying?
Yep, absolutely.
I like the email thing too, and that's I think is a big deal because it gives you the best of both worlds. You've got a sizable email list, and that's how you do a lot of your marketing. But then you can chat with you using that link that you gave out. So that's neat as well.
And the other downside I do want to mention, and I kind of touched on it very briefly, is the people that you can get into your lead lists with this. It's not super easy. In other words, for instance, let's say you run an ad to get people to like your page. Just because somebody likes your page does not put them in that lead list where you can now contact them. And with, if anybody's messed with Facebook Messenger, you also know that you can't go into your Facebook Messenger as a page and just contact somebody that you might know. They don't have that option. You can only contact people that have interacted with your page. So in other words, they've sent you a message at some point in time. So for instance, let's say I go to my Ray the Video Guy Facebook page and I want to reach out and message something to Steve. I can't just message him. Now, if he's messaged me in the past, then I can, but I couldn't just decide, I want to contact Steve, but I want to contact Steve through my page. It doesn't allow you to do that. So you need to have people that are in that lead list. And there are ways to do that. There's actually Facebook ads you can run specifically for getting people into your leads list. So you can do things like that. And they actually work really well. You give away a product, and when they download the product, then they become part of that lead list. And you can do things that way, and it works really well. But yeah, it's a little bit difficult. So like my lead list, for instance, like I said, I mentioned the number of 500, and that's about what I have right now. Is only 500 people in there. I would love to have 10,000 people in these things, but it's not super easy to get them in there. You have to really do it over time. I do it, by putting that chat button on my emails. That's a big help. Putting the chat button on the pages is a big help, because as people ask me questions, they get added to those lead lists, and now we can message them through Facebook. And now everybody that I'm talking to is going, "Oh, I'm never messaging that guy again. He's gonna put me in his lead list." But that's that's how it works. Is they have to contact you first so you can get them in there. So it's a slow process. Giving items away can be a big help. Give it away. You could just have something that you don't need to buy ads for this. You could give something away, but say, "Hey, just message me on Facebook and I'll give it to you." And so they go, "Hey, give me that free book." And then you send it to them. Now they're on your lead list. So it's a very quick process, but it's not an easy process to get them to do it a lot of times. So definitely
Well, and I
a lot
think also
easier
this
with email.
this brings up something, is if you're, you got that, you got the button on your website and you're going to interact with them, then you put them on the lead list. You still got to continue to build that relationship.
Yes.
Answer their questions, be there for them, be their friend. With putting them on a lead list comes a responsibility of being nice to them
Yep.
and,
No,
and
absolutely.
developing the relationship. Yeah.
Absolutely. And just so everybody knows, the lead lists, they work very much like email. So if you're sending out to 500 people and this guy here doesn't want to receive these messages, he can turn it off. He can stop receiving them. And the great thing is that doesn't stop you from messaging him. It stops him from being part of the mass messaging there. So in other words, if Steve's like, "Oh, I'm sick of getting these messages about whatever," he can hit stop. He'll stop getting the autoresponded messages, but he can still message me and I can still message him and we can chat. They just won't get the mass messaging that we send out, which is, that's perfectly fine. That's the way email works, and it should work this way. So
yeah, if somebody doesn't want to get your stuff, you don't want to send it to them. I mean, it's just that simple. So
that's pretty much it. That's pretty much it. But
Good
it
stuff,
works
yeah.
very, very well. It's it's revolutionized the way that I do things, because for instance, if I'm going to send somebody to a webinar, I can put that chat button on the webinar page, beforehand, the sign up page, and they can ask any questions about the webinar. Get more people to sign up that way. So there's a lot of really cool things you can do with this that can make a big difference when it comes to your marketing. So that's why I wanted to do on chatbots. Obviously not directly related to video marketing per se, but the fact that you could use this to send out your videos is a big connection there. So for instance, you've got a new video you've just created on, how to do X. Well, if you've got a list of people that are related to X, you can now send them all that message with that email or with that video in it, teaching them how to do X, and send it out all at once. So you can really start to grow your video presence by using things like this as well. So that's it. That's
cool.
my story on chatbots, and I'm sticking to it.
Well, it's all part of that whole marketing thing that includes video, which is primarily what you do, but you can't just rely on video all the time. You got to have some ancillary.
That is true.
items.
That is true. And people ask me all the time, they're like, "Well, what does video have to, how much of your business is video?" Well, I mean, it all is, and not much of it is. I mean, it just depends, As I say, a lot of my money comes from email marketing, but how did people get on that email list? Well, they probably get on that email list by watching a video. So it's all interrelated, and you have to use all of these tools together to build, your dynasty.
And one of the things that you do quite a bit of is lead generation systems, and you got to have that. I mean, otherwise.
And mine are very weak, by the way. I need to improve those greatly. I do a terrible job of
but
that.
if you're selling video marketing services, you got to have that. Otherwise, what are you doing? Well, then you're building content and building up an audience, and maybe you're doing something differently. But if you're in the marketing realm, you got to generate leads.
Yes, indeed.
So, yeah,
yes,
cool.
Indeed.
Very,
All right.
very, very good.
There you
Very
go. That
fascinating.
is chatbots, the future and I guess the present of messaging.
Yeah.
Until
Very
something
cool.
else comes out that's better.
And it's the radio show about chatbots, Video Marketing Madness with Ray the Video Guy, and I'm Steve Sleeper on the Earn Show Podcast Network. Now, tell me again, show made possible today by...
Made possible by what is called Perfect Pitch by Kevin Harrington. If you're not familiar with Kevin, if you watch the first couple seasons of Shark Tank, he was one of the original sharks on there until he decided he didn't want to do it anymore. And so you can check him out there. But Kevin is, if you don't know who he is, if you've ever seen that As Seen on TV logo, that's Kevin. So Kevin is, if you remember Ginsu Knives, he was a part of all that. A little bit later on, he was a part of that stuff. Ginsu Knives, the very famous things. And if you've ever watched a late night infomercial, well, you can thank Kevin for that too, because he kind of created that format. And many of the things that you would know from those infomercials were his products or products that he had partnered with. We're talking about, if you remember, Steve, do you remember the New Wave oven?
Oh, yeah, I sure do. I bought one. Yeah.
Did you really? Yeah.
Yeah.
That was I forget what he said in one of the videos. It was an astronomical amount of sales that particular thing made, because it worked kind of like an oven and a microwave together. And so it cooked everything evenly inside and out at the same time. And, it was a very popular product for a long, long time. And, and he's been behind a lot of that. Of course, we all know Ginsu Knives.
Uh-huh. Bought that too.
The hand.
Yeah.
But it can't slice a tomato.
Oh, this has got to be 30 years ago.
Yeah, well, and Kevin wasn't the originator of the Ginsu, but he was part of the marketing later on with it. But ironically, a funny little story is the guys who actually did create the Ginsu knives were from Rhode Island, and I know those guys. I've worked with them. In fact, Ed Valenti, who's one of the main guys who was behind the whole Ginsu knives thing, I actually worked with him on a couple of projects where we were putting together some of his original infomercial direct marketing things. So the Ginsu knives and the I forget the name of some of the products. The one where the guy would paint the ceiling in his tuxedo and not get paint on himself.
That thing, it was a flat thing. And, yeah, I remember what you're talking
so
about. I was
all
fascinated by that.
Yep. Yeah. And the one that cleaned your diamond rings, and those are some of the first ones. Yeah. They drop an egg on the diamond ring is how people remember that one, as they crack an egg over the lady's ring. So it was all that. If you've heard the but wait, there's more, or an 800 number on a screen, he's one of the big pioneers. Kevin Harrington, Shark Tank, direct marketing, infomercials, all that kind of stuff, and he's worth like $500 million at this point in time. Well, he's put together a product that he's going to be selling on JVZoo called Perfect Pitch, and right now he's doing a free training series leading up to the day that launches. And so you can go to raisebonuses.com/perfectpitch and watch some of those videos. So yesterday, or not yesterday, it was 2 days ago, he released one where it was his pitch to Donald Trump, who he describes how Donald Trump was angry and banging on the desk before he came in, and he made this pitch and got a $25 million check from him. So you can check that out. And today's video talks about how Ryan Allaire pitched to him on a product and some of the steps that were used for creating a perfect pitch. And this is for anybody doing any kind of pitch, whether you've got a product you're trying to pitch to somebody, whether you've got a product you're trying to sell to somebody, whether you're a plumber or a dentist trying to sell services to people. If you're somebody who works for somebody and you're looking for a raise, they teach you, this is the perfect pitch for anything that you need to do in business. And you can check that out again at raisebonuses.com/perfectpitch. Highly recommend it. And by the way, we're giving away some free items if you go and watch those videos. So if you go check them out, we've got a couple of free surprises. Just message me on Facebook afterwards, and I will send you your free ebook. It's a couple of marketing books for watching the videos. So there you go. That's Perfect Pitch. Kevin Harrington, Ryan Allaire, raisebonuses.com/perfectpitch. And with that, Steve, I think we're out of here.
Speaking of Perfect Pitch, let's hit that funky music of White Boy.
Hear the
Video guy, yeah, Ray the video guy. His skill is where it's at. Even if he's a little fat, he's filled with video expertise and has so much knowledge that you need. His YouTube ninja tricks can make your marketing so sick. He's Ray the video guy, yeah, Ray the video guy.